Hello, this is Atsushi and I'll do the Sashiko Live Streaming today in English. 見えるかな? Last time I did it at 10 a.m. in Eastern Time, which is about 2 hours ago, and that was the kind of request from the Instagram story. Today I will do at noon, like, you know, it's close to noon. I think this is a good time for the people in Europe, I guess. So this might not be the best time for many people, but I would like to kind of try when is the good time for many people who can watch here as live. Okay. Wow. Hello from Japan. That's a lot of hello from Japan. I mean, it's surprising. It's 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in Japan. Thank you so much for watching from Japan. Okay. So today, again, I will do the Sashiko stitching on the denim. As always. I'm working on that. There are a few announcements. Actually, I probably should write down first for the few announcement. Sorry for using this as the announcement, but I have to tell you this. So I do have the workshop online. Anybody who can watch this YouTube video can take my online workshop. Online Sashiko workshop. I used to say that I was worried, I was anxious about this, and I was not as confident as I am right now to offer the Sashiko workshop over internet. But after providing it for 20 people, so I feel it is quite good to communicate what I want to share throughout the video. So I think it is a very good opportunity for anybody who wants to study Sashiko. It is online, but I will be there. I will be able to support you throughout the internet, as well as the live session, which is one part of, very important part of this online Sashiko workshop, online Sashiko class, that I will check your posture, I will check your Sashiko stitching to communicate, to deliver the technique I would like to share. The thing is that I keep saying this, but there is a coupon for this. There's a big discount code for those who wishes to help me to improve the online Sashiko class, which is about like almost 50% off, like 45%, 40 something percent off coupon, and that will expire at the end of December, this month, in 2 weeks. And I give those coupons periodically, let's say every 10 days or so, to those who sign up for the online Google form with some answers. So if you have not done that before, and if you like to get those coupon code for the online Sashiko class, please go to the website. I will, after the live streaming, I will add that link to the explanation section of this video. So if you could read the description about what I offer online, and it will be a good opportunity for you to learn the Sashiko we practice. I will not offer as many workshops as I did in 2018 and this year 2019. I plan to do less workshop, less often. I will offer workshops probably much less, and I will focus on the stitching itself instead of that. So, and also, you know, you can of course wait until I go to your places, but I don't know when I can do that. It might be in 2025 or 2030, or after my daughter, who is 4 years old, becomes the college student, which is about 15 years from now. I don't know. So it might be a good idea to take a look at it, and then I think I can promise that it's gonna be a good experience for you. So that's the announcement. I think that's the announcement I wanted to make. And I will answer any kind of questions here instead, besides those technical questions. For those technical questions require some personal attention, and I would like to keep that as more like personal. And therefore I will not do that today, but I am happy to answer other questions regarding the culture, the Sashiko stories, why is Sashiko called Sashiko, and blah 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 blah. Alright, let's start stitching. I usually make an announcement or advertisement while I make stitching, but since it's English, I couldn't do that. I probably made a post that was probably yesterday, but I do not teach how to make one project. Like I really don't teach how to make this denim on my workshop, in my workshop. But after the workshop, you will be able to do what I'm doing right now. I can say that because many people have done this already. So I am not teaching how to make one specific item, or I'm not teaching how to make one beautiful jacket or something, but I am teaching the basic of like foundation of how to apply that basic to the other project. I had a very good chance to talk to the lady who has a quite long experience in introducing Japanese quilting and the American, like Western quilting. She's like a bridge in between two cultures, and I had a very fortunate time to talk to her about Sashiko and her understanding of Japanese quilting and Sashiko and stuff like that. And she gave me a very good question. Like it's one of the probably best questions I've ever received. She asked me like, what do you teach in Sashiko workshop? That is super good question. In fact, that's the first question I asked myself when I got offered to teach Sashiko to somebody else. Like, what do I teach? What is something I can teach? The reason I'm saying that is the Sashiko is so ordinary for us that I couldn't find anything special. And like for example, like if the request is to learn how to draw this Asanoha patterns, it's not my profession. It's just, Japanese Asanoha patterns is everywhere. It's not only limited to Sashiko. So I'm not probably the best one to teach. If they want to learn how to make a bag, I am not a seamstress or sewing person with a machine, so I'm not the appropriate one. So I couldn't really. I did my best, of course, to come up with the idea of how to structure the Sashiko workshop, but I could not see what is the request from the audience in terms of learning. So her question is quite accurate, and I was happy that it explains that she knows Sashiko very well. So if I see somebody who keeps saying like, I can teach you Sashiko, I can teach you Sashiko, my question is, what can you teach? Like seriously, like, what is the things that you know about Sashiko so special? And because I really don't know anything that special about Sashiko, which is different from the other hand stitching culture. However, after teaching Sashiko workshop in New York for 3 years or so, I learned that the method of using this thimble, this round thimble, is quite unique, and many people yes, I can say this 100% of my workshop participants didn't know how to use this thimble in the way that I use. Some of them tried to use it before, but they did not. They all got surprised how they can improve their stitching after learning the posture or after learning the method. So then I just stood thinking like, well, probably that is the thing that I can teach. In other words, I do not have the other kind of workshop to teach you how to make these patterns or the like. I have like 90 patterns that I can use apply to the other fabrics. I can technically to offer those workshops, but I don't really see the point of doing that because once they start doing Sashiko stitching, I think they can reach to that point by themselves without my help. So my goal is to share this technique to not a technique, this posture or this. So I wrote it yesterday's Instagram, but my goal is not to teach you how to make one dish, one cooking. Like I'm not gonna teach you how to make let's say like one soup. Well, let's say miso soup. Like let's say like I'm from Japan, and let's say like I'm not. My workshop is not to teach how to make miso soup. You probably can get information by googling or reading a book that miso soup requires miso and some vegetable. So what do I teach in Sashiko workshop is an equivalent of teaching how to use the knife. If there's any particular Japanese knife, I will teach you how to use the Japanese knife and cutting board, and also how to make the broth called dashi. After that, you can improvise, you can arrange your sashiko or making miso soup as you wish. That's the reason I do not really teach how, besides how to hold the basic technique of that. That's why I call the workshop basic and core. So I hope I hope you can take a little time to read what I offer, and then I hope it will give you some understanding of Sashiko too. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna teach how to make each recipes in the future. I'm just saying right now it is the time to teach or share the basic. It's surprisingly that there was really special for us. So I mean, it's ordinary for me, but it's special for the others. So it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to share. Hope that will help you to help any students, any learner, anybody to stitch more Sashiko and then enjoy more. Sashiko is quite simple. It's quite very simple. So in order to continue Sashiko stitching for more than a year or 10 years or 20 years, it requires a lot of mindfulness. And I believe that I'm teaching how to be mindful. Again, goal is not to be mindful. Mindful is only one byproduct of enjoying Sashiko. But as a byproduct of stitching, I think it can be applied to the mindfulness as well. I hope it makes sense. another announcement. Since this is my first month, that I have quite free time to think. So I am adding a lot of stuff online right now, including the Instagram, website, web shop, Patreon, stories, blah blah blah. So I have a lot to announce, and I probably should write the newsletter as well too. But yeah, at the beginning of this year, I had a workshop pretty much every month. Over the summer, when I was planning to take time off and focus on stitching, I got involved in the social network that I learned a lot from, but that was not, that's not a pleasant experience, but I learned a lot from that. Then toward the fall, like August, September, October, those are the kind of peak seasons for Sashiko. So I had a lot of workshop, pretty much again, like every month. And once I have a workshop, I need like at least a week before the workshop and a week after the workshop. Ideally 2 weeks in between. Ideally 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after, so I can prepare better. Oops. So it's like I was always occupied with some events until this December. And it is good that I can focus on the stitching right now. But sometimes I would like to announce a lot of things that I didn't do much, so I might be forgetting something, I don't know. Well, many people tell me that I should be advertising more, and I probably should, but at the same time I have to balance what I do for my living and what I make as the Sashiko Stitcher. When I was younger, I thought that I don't have to do Sashiko stitching to keep the Sashiko business alive. In other words, I thought that the manager of Sashiko business, where I'm from, has to be a good business person, but doesn't have to be a good Sashiko stitcher. That was my understanding. Many people advised me like that, the good restaurant owner or good restaurant manager is not always the good chef. They can hire a good chef and then make a good restaurant. That is probably true. However, after changing my path, I started realizing that although it might be true to be a good restaurant manager, you don't have to be a good chef, but in order to pass down the Sashiko to the next generation, one storyteller like me has to be able to, at least has to enjoy, not has to, but it's good that I enjoy Sashiko stitching instead of just telling you not what to do, but telling what Sashiko is. It is more, how can I say? It is more convincing that I actually do Sashiko stitching and then tell something instead of talking about the Sashiko by itself. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. It is so difficult to stitch and speak in English. That's why, again, I really do not do the live streaming in English. This is my second week of 10th trial. I don't know how many times I tried to do the live streaming in English, but this is the probably I've done so many times. Like I once said like I will do every Wednesday night, every blah blah blah, but I kind of give up because few reasons. Like one, that I'm not really good at stitching and talking in English simultaneously. through two that I sometimes get uncomfortable viewers when I do that in English, and three I probably don't enjoy as much as doing that in Japanese too. So I am trying my best to keep this live streaming as periodic as possible, but again, like, it might not be the case because it is simply more challenging for me. But I will continue the Japanese one almost forever. I think that's my life work right now. So not even work, like my life. How do you say life? Life work, I guess. See, I stopped talking now. That's the thing. I usually can do speaking, talking in Japanese, and stitching simultaneously for a few hours. Sometimes 24 hours, but it is challenging for me. I have to make a lot of videos. Actually, I took some videos already and I have to edit them. But I finally came to a conclusion of what kind of Sashiko thread is good. And long story short, after using the new thread line that I decided to add to my website, they are quite good. They are good. So everything I introduce on my website are good for the Sashiko stitching we use too. So, but at the same time, I strongly recommend the old-fashioned Sashiko thread that I've been introducing for almost all the time, from the beginning to the right now. Yeah, the thread matters. Thread does matter. Please try. Like, I'm not even gonna beg. So you gotta try. Like, it will make a lot of difference. I tried to best to learn Sashiko in English. You're doing such a good job. You are doing such a good job. Please keep writing. Please keep writing a comment in English so I can probably. It's like a. It's not a whole purpose. It's not the purpose of this live streaming, but I might be able to teach English to you while I do Sashiko stitching. Keep writing, keep writing. Well, English is really difficult. English is super, super difficult. So and I can probably share some of the interesting story between English and Japanese, but that means I have to use the whiteboard to explain those things, which will ruin the whole purpose of this stitching live streaming because I have to stop stitching. So that's for another time that I can be, when there's a request to talk about the language instead of Sashiko, I will do so. But since this is called Sashiko Live Stitching, I probably gotta do stitching. time is it in Europe right now? I think it's like nighttime, right? But it's Thursday. Thursday at night, like dinner time is probably not the best time. I will next time try to do the live streaming at 2 p.m. in US time, in the Eastern Standard Time, which will be at night in Europe. I will try to do like the different time zone to see when is the best time for me to do the live streaming in English. I have only availability from almost 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in weekdays. I'm not available for the weekend. I'm not available after evening or before morning, so has to be in between those time. Yet I would like to do the live streaming with as many people as possible. So I'll try to find when is the best time. When is the best time slot to like time zone to do that. Sorry. There's a lot of stitching. Where did it go? Hey? Where did it go? Where is my stitching? Where did it go? It happens. It really happens all the time. But nah. My neck hurts. I don't know why. It's not from Sashiko Stitching, because I have not done Sashiko Stitching for the last couple of days. Besides the live streaming, am I getting sick again? Like living with a child almost equal to getting sick every winter, so there is nothing I can do about that. She goes to school, she gets sick. I mean, she doesn't get sick, she's a quite strong, healthy baby, but I get sick. Does microphone catch that fabric sound with the sound of thread going through the fabric? That's one of the best sound I can create by myself. There's a lot of sound I like, but this is one of the best sound. I feel it's so good. This sound. It's probably catching. You may be kind of wondering how I am so eager to spend so many hours on this denim pants with this Sashiko stitching. you can probably complete this stitching within 20 to 40 hours, so it's not that much. It's not that long journey. You really like that sound. Thank you so much. Really. Ha! L and R, that's the biggest thing that I can. I took so much time. I spent so much time and energy to differentiate L and R for that. Really is another one word that I really cannot say it still yet. Another word I'm still struggling with is the rivalry. Rivalry. I don't really pay attention anymore about my pronunciation because my friends understand my English. I do have a thick accent, but I do not have to care about it that much. I don't have to pay attention that much because many of my friends already got used to my accent. That's not a good thing because I have to care about my accent to make it better so everybody can understand it. But the accent is not about, it's like Sashiko, it's not about good or bad, it's more like, is it understandable or not? There's no rule about it. There's not even, well, unless you want to be some, public speaker or something. I think there's no definite answer for that. One day, I'll keep doing it. I hope I can learn the other language as well. I mean, the Sashiko can be a universal language, so I probably don't have to study the other language for that. As long as I can speak English and Japanese, probably that could be enough. That can be enough. A little bit of English, a little bit of Japanese, and then stitching can probably complete the conversation. Yes, the pronunciation is very difficult. So the Japanese L sound, like there's a similar sound in Japanese language, hiragana. It's larirurero. It's when you study Japanese, you will find the kind of R sound or L sound, larirurero. But it's really interesting. The larirurero is completely in between L and R sound. So we have only one sort of closer to L or R sound in Japanese, which your tongue is in between L and R. So not many people can pronounce. Not many non-Japanese pronounce. I'm sorry. Not many Japanese. Not. Not many non-Japanese can pronounce the Japanese larirurero. So as not many Japanese can pronounce L and R in a good way. Ay. Where is my English? There's like a tongue twister I was doing, but I even forgot. Red river, round the road, whatever. But when I was focusing on the tongue position, I was not good at L and R at all when I was focusing on the tongue position, which is all about tongue position. But for those who wants to say that the R sound, who doesn't know anything about R or L, probably the lips position is another thing I want them to consider. Not only the tongue position. Probably it's gonna help them to have a better pronunciation when they focus on the tongue. I mean the lip positioning, lip shape on top of the tongue position. Yeah, little more. It's a lot of stitching, you know. It's good that I enjoy it. Okay, this is gonna be my last thread today. After this long one thread, I will go off. Has been almost 38 minutes. I think that was a good live streaming. I will try my best to continue the live streaming in English. It will be very helpful if you could leave the comments on what kind of topic of Sashiko that you would like to hear in the live streaming. It's kind of difficult to come on live and then find the things to talk about. I try to do that in the other, although I do not edit the live streaming much, although I do not edit the video much, I always prepare what to talk about before filming the video. Live streaming is a little bit different because I do not even prepare what to talk about. So your questions or comment would be helpful to keep going that. And if you cannot come to the live streaming, that's perfectly fine. Just leave the comments, so I will mention that in the next live streaming that I will offer. So just keep in mind that I am willing again to do the live streaming in English, which I kind of gave up a couple months ago. Again, I'm coming back again. It's like, you know, it's like life. I give up and come back and give up and come back. Because my goal is to share. I would like to keep going it, but sometimes it can be too much to keep doing it. Japanese one is not that difficult because I have already a foundation, and again, I really don't have to think when I do the live streaming in Japanese. But here in English, a little bit of push. little more, little more. Yosh! Yosh. I spoke in Japanese. Alright, this is it. This is today's live streaming. It's 45 minutes. It's not as long as I usually do, but I hope I will come back again to the live streaming, and I will see you on the Instagram or the other places as well. This is as much as we have been stitched so far. I'll show you that. Probably 1/3 is done. I do have to go into the very small places, which is gonna probably take a lot more time, but so far so good. So far so good. So far so good. Not really here, but like I can fix it later. Yep, that's good. We will keep going that throughout the year end and the year beginning. Alright, thank you so much for watching Sashiko Live Streaming, and thank you for watching the archive of this live streaming. I will come back next Tuesday for the Japanese live streaming. I don't know when I can do the English one again. If I don't see you in 2019, Happy New Year. And 2020, I will see you there too. Alright. ありがとうございました。がっつり日本語途中で話したけど、まあ難しいやね。英語の配信はね。では、次回火曜日は多分、火曜日ができないのか。火曜日ができないんだな。火曜日ができないので、金曜日はできるかなという感じですね。どうぞまたよろしくお願いします。おやすみなさい。あつしでした。バイバイ。